And we eat more for breakfast. Don't want to go far. Sorry, boys.
Season 3.
All right. Here I know. Oh, na, 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 na. Oh, na, 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 na. Hi, T.
Season 3.
Good evening and welcome back to another edition of the myt-sports podcast on the MyT radio station. I love how that sounds on mytradio.net. I am your host, the one and only talent, throw my, take that, Taylor. Yes, we are here today. It is officially September 4th. It is about 84, 6 degrees here in South Florida. And before we get started, just like how we did with last week's show, to be honest with you, we also going to start off again with this week's show as we say our hopes and prayers for the people out in Texas right now as they deal with their flood. Don't forget that you can always donate at redcross.org or any numerous organizations. I know friends and family members now at this point that have taken up personal drives and set it up on one of their many social media pages. So there's always that opportunity. But while you guys are also out there giving to the people in Texas for Hurricane Harvey, also keeping your hearts for all of us down here in South Florida as we get ready for Hurricane Irma. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like people down here, like it's iffy. Like you have your few people that are kind of freaking out, and they're probably about 20% of the population, and then you have the other 80% like, this is another hurricane. Let me go through my normal, regular due diligence, what I'm supposed to do. Like nothing too big, nothing too minor, just enough to make sure that I don't catch myself, at least without, a couple of days without any water, food, necessities, batteries, things like that. So people are at least stocking up on their basics, which is good, which is always a good thing. But with all that said, like I said, just to make sure, you keep us in your prayers, and also make sure you keep us in your pockets. Like, I know you're giving all that money to Texas. I ain't trying to take any money away from Texas. I'm just saying that, before you give that last 25, just think, hey, these people in Florida may need it pretty soon. Oh, just put it aside. Like put away some emergency fund money and understand that it may be coming down here. As I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of us are preparing for the storm in our own way, and some of that way is by buying vodka. That's how we do down here in South Florida. Like, you have to understand when something like this happens, right, or something like this occurs, that us down here in South Florida, a part of us is looking at it like that is such a natural phenomenon at times that, hey, we're like, why ruin the fun when we can, also have a party? Like, why go out on your knees when you can when you can walk out on your feet, kind of thing. And that's what we plan on doing down here in South Florida. We plan on making sure that we leave on our feet. That's all that is. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been about. Is really making sure that if it's gonna be rough times, that we're gonna have one good time before we have to get down to business. It's kind of how it is down here. So let's bring this mother sucker back and get back into these sports, because we got a whole bunch of sports to talk about today, and you guys know how it is. Like, there's as the weeks pass, right? As the week passes, a bunch of events happen, and one event that has happened kind of hit. It's another one that's gonna hit me close to home. It's gonna hit me really, 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 really close to home, because I can't quite understand in my head, right, how or why my team, and if you don't know who my team is by now, if you're unaware of who they are, you're going to learn pretty soon. They did a trade with Seattle for one of their wide receivers. And as I adjust this mic real quick, if there's something that you don't realize is that the person that we sent him away for happened to be a Pro Bowl caliber person. Happened to be one of the young studs of his position. Happened to be a disruptor of the passer and the ball. And we traded him away for a Seattle wide receiver. Now I'm going to ask you this. And I want you guys to be honest with when you think about this. When was the last time that you heard that there was any value whatsoever in any Seattle Seahawk wide receiver? I mean, even as they won Super Bowls and made it to Super Bowls and made it to conference championships, what does that wide receiving core always say? Oh, we're disrespected. Oh, we're overlooked. Oh, we're underrated. There's a reason for all that. And yet, my New York Jets found it to be a phenomenal idea. Like phenomenal idea. To make sure to draft, or to trade, I shouldn't say to make sure, but to trade this stud of a guy that we have, which is Sheldon Richardson, for, who is this guy? Like, did I even write his name down? Did I even care? Nope, didn't even care. They want to say it's Curse or Kels. Maybe it's Curse, Kearce. And they're gonna try to make this guy into the number one. He was, now, mind you, he's their number 3 receiver, and he's gonna end up being the number 1 receiver. Just because before now the Jets only had one guy of any kind of hope, and he got injured in the preseason. So there goes hope. So I can understand. They not only did they get this wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks, but they also got a 2nd round pick. And if you're a team like the Jets, that means that you're at a point in time where you are trying to also. You're also Lewis is stupid and he's nasty. Y'all can only see this text message stream that is coming through. Alright, and I hope you guys are listening too, because I'm gonna give some fantasy tips later. So I'm actually gonna text that fantasy tips later for the ladies. Because if you guys don't know by now, I have an all-female fantasy football team, right? And as I probably said before, and I'm going to say it again until everybody hears it, until people realize what happened. I had a bunch of females that I knew, and you could do this for some females that you know. As you know, I had a bunch of females that I knew that constantly go watching football, and maybe they don't watch football the way that we watch football, but they like to talk about football like we like to talk about football. So, you know, it's one of the things, like, if you're going to make them walk the walk, then they kind of have to talk the talk, right? So, I made sure that I found a way to incorporate all these girls that like to play football, that like to watch football, into a fantasy football league where they can have fun. And that's where we went with this. That's all this thing is about. And not only that, I found an incentive. So I know you guys are thinking like, man, T, you said this before, but I'm gonna keep saying it, B. I'm gonna keep saying it. I really wanted to find a way for all these females to play, all these women to play. I say females, it's a military thing, nothing to it, but all these females to play, and not only play, but not feel that they're at a disadvantage, not feel overwhelmed, even though they still kind of feel overwhelmed, but definitely not feel like they're on not at a disadvantage. Definitely make it feel like they're playing on an even playing field, and that's where we're at. We're up to it's a 10-woman league. Probably could have had a couple more. We're up to a 10-woman league And they all feel like they've on an 11 playing field. They've only been playing for about 2 years, most of them. Some of them only been playing 1 year, but I've watched the draft very carefully last year and how they played last year. Even though they're going to be playing for a second year, yeah, a lot of you are still going to be playing like rookies. And that's a good thing because it still keeps it open, it keeps it fresh, it keeps it new, it keeps it pure to you guys. Right? So, I have that going on. So ladies, listen up. Like this is gonna be a year. This is gonna be a big thing. And they get an incentive. They get $100 gift card. $100 gift card. So that's not like today's theme of the show is gonna be very, very female orientated. As we're gonna have a couple of those this year, right? So we have some things in the work and we have some things in the making, and we're gonna make sure we keep shaking and baking. So moving on, all right? We have the college football that has started their first week. Season opener, as you can say. Some ups, some downs, some rights, some wrongs, some good stuff, some bad. Like you had first time ever 2 top 3 teams meeting in the first game of the season. You know, we had some very nifty and interesting ways of celebrating without being called for celebratory penalties, and also a way for highlighting or scrutinizing players without it being too much of a public spectacle. And if you guys are like me by now, you all should be getting the 24-hour notice about Draft League, the men's league and the females league. So we have a couple of games that passed us. The Miami Hurricanes played BCU, and they the Miami Hurricanes beat BCU 41-13 in Miami. We had Oklahoma, OU, you know, those Boomer Sumas. They beat out UTEP 56-7 in Oklahoma. Then Michigan beat out the Florida Gators 33-17, and game that we told you about, two of the top three teams in the college ranking in college football. Florida State ranked number 3, Alabama ranked number 1, and not for nothing, it was a good game for a half. And as their ranking showed 3-1, that you kind of think that one team may be 3 times better than the other. Yeah, it kind of showed on the score. Alabama beat Florida State 24-7. I know it's gonna hurt a couple of you, like my homegirl Mia. It's gonna hurt a couple of other Florida people. Like, wait, is that you too, Ronnie? Is that you too? I think that's you too, Ronnie. But it happened, and even though that was the big spectacle that was made to help sell the first week of the college football season, that wasn't the thing that I'm gonna remember the most. What I'm actually going to remember the most happened as USC very systematically or came to a closure. I came to the end of putting away Western Michigan 49-31. And in the midst of their win, they put in the Daredevil himself, actually. They put in, the Crimson, the blind guy in Crimson. I just finished watching that. It's fresh in my head. They put in a blind long snapper. So if you guys don't understand who a long snapper is kind of like the center, right? He's the guy that is snapping the ball directly to the next person that needs to put it into play, right? So in the long snapper's case, I guess you could call a long snapper something like somebody in the shotgun, but it's a little bit more intense than that. It's the guy that's normally on special teams. And because of how the rules are today, like you can't even touch that guy that's snapping the ball, then he basically gets a free snap and everybody basically goes around him. And he got himself a perfectly long snap to let off a kick that helped add points to his team victory. A blind player, folks. Yes. Blind long snap in the NFL. That is something to remember. But before we go any further, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back to the Mighty Sports Podcast on mytradio.net, that's mytradio.net, Mighty Sports, MYT Sports. When we come back, we're going to get into some basketball, some interesting things. That since we're still talking about college sports, we're going to talk about some interesting things that potentially could happen in college basketball. We're going to talk some boxing. And we're going to bring back a segment that I do love, because it's, once again, today's the day that we're going to get all hot and heavy, get kind of personal. And we're going to love ourselves today when we come back from this commercial break.
Let me put you on the game. Being taken advantage of isn't a game, and it needs to stop. Aren't you tired of being ripped off by those other guys? Then head to Multiverse Video Games and get the value you deserve on your games and gaming products. Your games cost money, and you shouldn't feel like you're just giving them away. So why continuously buy a membership for prices and deals that you should be getting anyway? Multiverse Games not only has fair pricing and great trading deals, Multiverse has a wide variety of games, not just all your popular next-gen titles, but also all your favorite old-school titles and systems. Starting as early as Atari and Nintendo, to as current as PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and yes, that does include PlayStations, GameCubes, and Xboxes in between. Even family-owned and operated for over 10 years, just off the intersection of 183rd and 7th Avenue from the Nurses Registry Plaza. That's conveniently located at 830 Northwest 183rd Street, Miami Gardens, Florida 33169. Believe it or not, just 5 minutes from Sun Life Stadium, $7.90 the ticket, and oh no, let's not forget Tootsie's Adult Entertainment Center. Multiverse Games, where you save more so you can play more.
And we are back to the Mighty Sports Podcast. And if you're listening with me live right now on the Mighty Radio. Yes, folks, I am your host, still telling Tomar Taylor. So, we left the last segment talking about some college football. Talking about college sports in general. And it really isn't going to take any difference, because we're going to kind of stick here for a while. Yeah, the laws. I don't know what to call them. The laws, the laws, LaVar Ball, the balls on these balls, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie, the balls on these balls to constantly keep defying the norm, to keep going against the grain. And you understand, they're going to be loved for this. They're going to be cherished for this. Because what he's going to be doing is so unconventional. And you have to figure, right? How many other celebrities and their children probably should have taken advantage of this? Right? So LaVar Ball has a current son right now. In case you're not up to speed, we're going to get you up to speed real quick. LaVar Ball has a current son right now named, what's his name? Anthony? Right, but LaVar Ball has a current son in the NBA right now with the Lakers, and because of obviously him signing with the Lakers, it allows him and his family now an additional fortune of money. Now I said that their family didn't have some money to begin with, you know what I mean? But it allows them a much now greater fortune of money, and with that fortune of money, his dad LaVar that is, wants to continue to grow their empire and grow the family business, which has been the merchandise so far right now. Not only selling his sons in a very positive way. I'm not trying to make that sound derogatory in any way, shape, or form, but selling his sons and his sons' talents, but also make sure he sells his son's likeness and anything that has to do with that. And with that he went into the NBA and said, like, hey, we could have our own signature shoe. They didn't quite like that, so there was some backlash here and there. But end of the day, they still trying to find a way to put out a signature shoe. So with that also happening, he has another son already right now that's in high school. And you know what he said? You know what? I'm going to give my high school son his own signature shoe. And while the NCAA normally has has issues against any college player being able to profit off of their likeness, you have to understand, like, there's one major loophole in that, and that's any scholarship athlete. So if LaMelo never takes a college scholarship because now his family has either generated enough money where they can just pay for college themselves. You understand? A lot of these reasons why these celebrities aren't doing it, because, you know, and they put their children on scholarship because they realize it's a free ride through college. But if, let's say, you had honestly do what LeVar is doing right now. So listen, if you're out there and you catch a whiff of this podcast and you listen to this segment, you may want to take some notes. Because we are not only gonna gamble we're gonna gamble like LaVar is gambling. We're gonna put on these poker faces. We're gonna come to the table and we're gonna make them call your bluff. And what bluff that is that if you are going to be a profitable NBA player, not just an NBA player, but a profitable NBA player, an NBA player that is able to not only produce on the court but off the court. And what the Balls are doing is that they're saying that, okay, we have this money now, starting from in high school. My son is popular right now, and who knows how much popular he's going to be when he gets to the NBA or whatever, or what happens. But there starts a time where these children or whatever it is are as popular as they're ever going to be right now. So why not give him a signature shoe? And guess what? Let's say he does sell 100 shoes. Let's say he sells 1,000 shoes. Those shoes alone will pay for his college tuition. So he doesn't have to worry about going on a scholarship and breaking NCAA regulation that says he can't utilize his money or they'll strip him of his scholarship. Because that's generally where all of these guys were holding these players by the balls at, is that saying, hey, we're going to take away your scholarship. Well, if a player doesn't need your scholarship, then guess what? You can't take shit away from them, which means that they don't fear you for anything.
Dirty turkey, shark, a fat, flat, Washington, Philip, Bucket, Barton, Perkaluma, Burton, Dutton, Boston, Martin, and Attenborough.
So LaVar and the Balls may have found a loophole when it comes to other celebrity players. Because you know what that says to me now? Gary Payton could have paid for his son to go through college. And what Gary Payton should have done is utilize his popularity to help sell his son's gear and not send him on a scholarship and put him in the NCAA. Patrick Ewing should have done the same thing. Michael Jordan could have done the same thing. This opens up a whole, and you understand the NCAA is gonna get vexed. They're either gonna allow it or they're not. But if they do, it allows for all of these child celebrities, whether they got game or not, to be able to start monetizing on themselves from as early as high school. And if they don't make it into the NBA, at least now, like I said, let's say he sells 1,000 shoes at $495. Let's just make this simple for you, right? He wants to sell the shoes at let's say $400. Let's just downplay it, $400, and let's say he sells 1,000 shoes. So you add 3 zeros onto that number. That means he would have sold $400,000 worth of shoes. I'm just saying, that's $500,000 right there. That's enough money. Especially if that's a way that they are generating most of their profit, or he gets to take the maximum profit off of it, because it doesn't have to go through Reebok. It doesn't have to go through this label. Like think of it as record labels. It doesn't have to go through Cash Money, Young Money, Big Timers, No Timers, Big Shotters production. You understand? It doesn't have to go through all of that OVO productions before it gets to them. It goes through Big Baller Brand and it gets to them. Basically, they're trying to make Jay-Z moves instead of Drake moves. Just saying. Not trying to take any shots at any of these people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take those kind of shots, but you know. Shots fired. Keeping it here, right? So right now, we see a potential beef coming between the NCAA and the Balls, because they can start a pattern that, if not more than anything, can be taken advantage of by child celebrities or celebrity children. where they can utilize their popularity to make additional money. So while they're not on scholarship, they at least have a way. Because you understand, basically all they're saying, only reason why they're on scholarship is so their parents don't have to pay for all this college. But while they're in college, they become some of the most taken care of kids because they have a very good backup fund. Meaning parents, and their parents have a very decent steady stream of money. But now they get an opportunity to make their own money. They get to become their own entrepreneur. Like, listen, I got a nephew who's 16 years old right now, and he has his own webpage. Are you telling me that these kids couldn't create their own webpage to sell their own stuff? To try to make money for themselves so they can pay for college? And who cares if they're only selling it because of their popularity? Are the NCAA the only one that's supposed to be able to take advantage of these kids' likeness? I'm sorry. Like, all of these kids have a popular market somewhere. And you're dragging all of these little markets. Understand? You're grabbing 53 players from 53 different places across the fucking country, and you're taking all of their popularity among all their alumni and all this other stuff, and you're bringing them to the school and you're monetizing all this. Why can't that one kid take advantage of the 3,000 people in this town and have them buy it for him? You know, take advantage of the 30,000 people in his town. Take advantage of the 3 million people from his town that want to support him. It's a lot better than the alternative. The ramen noodle, the boosters, the criminal activities. You understand? The selling drugs on the side, anything else. Let them do entrepreneurial-ish. That is legal, obviously. And let them start to flourish, because a lot of these same people want to become business majors, want to become communication majors, want to become law majors, but you don't let them take anything real. You don't let them really learn how to run a business. So at least now, if they start running their business now, your own business at 16, like we allow like these fake ass Kardashians to with their made up faces. You understand? We allow the Kardashians to sell plastic surgery at 16 years old, but we can't let a kid sell his own sneaker so he can help put himself through college. Because you understand, these Kardashians only doing it so they can keep fucking celebrities and sports and athletes. That's all they keep finding, and then they ruin them because as soon as they find, I swear to God, I don't know which one is worse. We're gonna do a poll. We're gonna do a poll, right? I think this may be the first live poll that we are doing while we're on the show, but we're gonna do a poll, and I'm gonna keep it up here for a week. And I want to find out which curse is worse. The Madden curse or the Kardashian curse? Because they're both very real. That's how I figure. Like, this is gonna be Tom Brady's last year. He's putting out a legend. He's putting out a Legends cover. Tom Brady is retired after this year. And since we're in the NFL already, we're talking about them and their beef, right? The NFL right now, as it currently stands, is still beefing with Ezekiel Elliott, as they can't come to terms or come to grips or what's real, what's not, who's telling the truth, who isn't. But one thing that we do know they're going to do, that they are beefing and they're going to go to arbitration. They're going to try to take this to court. They're going to try to suspend the suspension that is being handed down to Ezekiel Elliott. But there's been some very good questions brought up. Like, are they trying to get the whole thing reduced, or would they settle for 2 games? And then to stick to the fact that there's gonna be a losing battle. So listen, be a fucking lion, take no shit, set goals, smash them, eat people's faces off, be a better person. That was a quote by Sean Diddy Combs today. We're gonna go to break. We're gonna get this poll up and running. I should do 2 mini polls, right? We'll do this poll for next week. We'll do this poll for next week. We'll go on break. When we come back, we're gonna get into a lot of local events. Stay tuned. This is Talent Omar Taylor, and you're listening to mytradio.net.
Developers, 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 developers.
So if you're stuck trying to figure out what to do on a Friday again, listen here. Stop worrying and stop thinking. And head to Capone's nightclub in downtown Fort Lauderdale. This is where you'll find DJ Scepter mixing in the lounge room so you can start dancing and start drinking. Listen, I know. But I need a couple of drinks in me so I can loosen up first. That's okay. Start drinking first so you can start dancing. Regardless of what you do, is make sure you do it with DJ Scepter. Every single Friday from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Ladies, you bring your sexy. Fellas, you bring your swag. It's going down to Capone's. But wait, there is always more. You're trying to figure out what to do on a Wednesday? Then find DJ Scepter at O'Malley's. This will be from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. We're right on 441 between Coconut Creek and Royal Palm Boulevard. Listen, DJ Scepter is playing everywhere that you want to be. Birthdays, weddings, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, bachelorette parties, Super Bowl parties, boxing parties. We're talking about business events, bowling events, commercial events, outdoor events, indoor events. DJ Scepter puts a royal touch on everything. And if you would like to reserve his services, it is as simple as going to bookings@djscepter.com. Basically, that's how you email him. That's BOOKING at djscepter.com. And we are back. This is still a Mighty Sports Podcast. I'm still your host, Alan Thomar Taylor. And if you're still listening, that means you're still listening in one of two places. Either mytradio.net or myt-sports.net. Yes, right now it's streaming on both of them. Or, yes, you can find the Mighty radio station also on TuneIn Radio. TuneIn Radio has always been one of our very lovely affiliates that we've been able to get our show on, whether I was doing a podcast or not a radio station. So we're going to stick with TuneIn for a while. We kind of like some. So as I told you, right, there's a bunch of things going down, right? And I told you we're gonna get real personal. Before we go personal, I want to make sure all these beefs, all these little beefs out there are taken care of. You understand? I want to make sure that all of these beefs, all of these little altercations, all of these misunderstandings, all of these fights, are given to you guys the way that it should be. So we can't leave before we cover all of them. And there's one coming up between Canelo Alvarez and Triple G something Golovkin, right? As those guys decide to unify, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to fight in a catchweight. That official pay-per-view is going to be, what is it? It's going to be September 15th. Or is it the 16th? Or the 17th? I forget. So that fight's coming up as, of course, we're gonna start breaking down those fights pretty soon. This is a tough one to call. I'm not gonna lie. This is a tough one to call because Canelo Alvarez doesn't have a lot of losses on his resume. And the only one anybody can really talk about, which is the one, is the one against Floyd Mayweather. And even that one, they would say, he was a little too young. But this Triple G guy is no joke. Like, these are one of those fights that if it's not on your radar the way it should be, then it should be. Like, if Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor made it onto your radar, then Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Triple G Golovkin, September 6th, has to make your radar as well. This fight is probably going to be the biggest fight of the year purely surrounded around boxing. Not no gimmicks, not no hypes. Like I said, we have a catch weight here. Canelo Alvarez, 49 1-1, 34 knockouts, 5'9", 27 years old. Now, in this case, Canelo Alvarez is the younger guy by 7 years over Gennady Triple G Golovkin. 37-0, undefeated. 33 knockouts, 5'10", with 35 years of age. Now, if boxing has showed us a lot of things, is that good technique can beat out youth on any given day. As we've seen with the only two people that I've seen to do it that long at that age on that level, Floyd Money Mayweather and Bernard Hopkins. If you know two others, if you know some other ones, then throw it in there. You name me some people that really weren't losing in their mid-30s like that. Between like 35 and 40. Was kind of going and running through people, undefeated at that time in their career. Yeah. So we're going to see whose technique and whose style holds up in this fight. The only thing about it is that these two guys aren't shit talkers. So there's a massive fight that's going on out there. And what this fight misses, what this fight really, really needs is Don King. Like, let's not get it twisted. This fight needs somebody like Don King, who is an over-eccentric hype machine galore, to come out and tell us what we like about Canelo Alvarez, what we like about Triple G Golovkin, and what's gonna happen, and who's gonna do what to who, and we have none of that. What we have is a lot of respect coming from both corners. And while respect is nice, we kind of want to see a little bit of nasty. You want to see some snarl. You want to see some fight in the fight. But that's not going to happen. These two guys are too reserved. They're too calm. They're too respectful of each other. They're not like Mayweather and McGregor, where they're going to come out there and they want to give you a verbal show to help sell the fight. No, these guys are just going to hope that the fight sells itself. I'm going to say good luck to them, because I don't know if that's the smart thing to do. They should have hired Don King and Paul Heyman to talk about this fight. But they're not there. And we're not here. I'm gonna tell you where we're all gonna go with this. Before we get there, no. Sorry.
Matter of fact, 305.
Yeah, here we go. In case you don't know what that is the indication for the local segment of this show. I know it's been a while since it's been there. Like, we barely even touched on it in season 2. And it was so heavy in season, but we wanted to bring it back. Somebody asked for it, so it's back. And the reason why it's back, because we have a ton of local things going on. As I'm in the workings of renegotiating a contract with the Hollywood Browns, so hopefully that comes back into stock, and we get to talk about that at the beginning of next year. But also, man, beginning of next year is gonna have a lot of things. But also, I couldn't continue calling myself the #1 sports podcast in Tamarack, Florida, if I didn't at least, at the very minimum, talk about the sports in my city. So I did some digging, I did some searching, I did some research, and what I found and who I found were the Tamarack Cougars. Now, if you guys don't understand about the Tamarack Cougars. And it was kind of funny to me because Tamarack is filled with a lot of retired people. So to be thinking of like that, okay, I took that to a bad place. Okay, let me get out of there. Let me get out of there. Gotta dig myself out of this gutter. Let me get out of here. Get out of here. Let me get out of there. Let me get out of there.
Come on, dump. You smoke crack, don't you? Look at me, boy. Don't you smoke crack?
Yes, sir.
You know what that does to you, huh?
No, sir.
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells. Now, I say if you want to kill yourself, go on and do it expeditiously. Now, go on and jump.
That's what I feel like the Jets are doing with their season. But that's exactly, I think that's exactly how the Jets season is. Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, I'm Mr. Clark, and I'm talking to them, and I'm just like, I see you tanking. I see you getting away all the good players. Like, if you want to throw away, just throw it away. Don't dick around so much. You're gonna be competitive. Like, if you're gonna tank, just go on and tank. But I digress. So what I found was that Tamarack has a local football team. And that football team runs from all ages from 7 up to 13, obviously. It's one of those kind of leagues. And I found their schedule. And while I was surprised that their schedule starts now during the regular football season, where, like I said, the one that I have with the Hollywood Browns, I hope to renew with the Hollywood Browns, starts after the regular football season starts. This one is like, no, we're going to do it in the middle of it. And we're going to do it on Saturdays. And games start as early as like 6 o'clock in the morning. And they run it all day. And they run your child through these little football game crucibles. It's kind of like AAU for football. Right? But all of these guys I found were first thing I saw. Now, all of these guys are heads-up certified coaches. So they know the right way to teach your kids how to tackle. So they know the right way to eliminate as many head trauma injuries as possible. Let's just stay away from the C word that everybody hates now. Men, women, women, different C word. Guys, mothers, parents, different C words. So their very next game, and that's if they have a next game, because remember, we do have a natural disasters coming. Last is going to be on September 9th as the Tamarack Cougars take on Pompano. I don't know what the Pompano team is called, to be honest with you. To be 100% honest with you, I have no clue what the Pompano team is called. But that's who they'll be playing. That's only, believe it or not, week 5 of the season. So they have 6 more weeks to go. And we're going to see how this season plays out, because I'm going to assume that the week 5 game is probably going to be the game that's canceled. And who knows when they're going to find the time, energy, or way to reschedule that. Especially since there's not really any kind of break between week 11, which is the end of their season. These guys play 11 weeks of football. 11! Like, I understand it. If you're playing 11 weeks of football since you've been 7, how are you not able to make that jump for 16 in the NFL? I'm just slightly curious. Not trying to take anything away from the people that keep hitting that rookie wall. I just want to know, how does that rookie wall come about? Especially when you've been playing 11, 12, 13, 14 games a year since you were 7. Let's say you make it to the NFL, you've been playing since you were 7. That's 15 years, 16 years that you've had to adjust to a 18 game schedule. I know you're saying like 11 to 18 is a major jump. I don't know what it is. But we're not going to discuss that way too much further. We're going to come back. We're going to go to break. And when we come back, sorry, but we have to get into this fantasy football. I promised the world fantasy football talk. And I will make sure, by golly else, my name isn't Talent T. Taylor, that I will deliver with fantasy football talk before this show is over. But right now, we break. mytradio.net.
My tea?
I'm interested in everything related to space, but also scuba diving, piloting aircraft, anything electronics, and photography.
We're interested in music, news, and funny people.
The best way of finding out what my guests are up to before they come on my show is to follow them on Twitter. This is exactly what I do.
I follow Green Day on Twitter because I always like to keep up with what they're doing. They're my favorite band.
I want to stay up to date on fashion news, so I follow @style.com and @women'swear daily.
I like to follow my own girl.
Nobody cares about Kardashians.
Because Martha Stewart, she keeps it studded and buttered bacon flake that she loves to wake and bake with the big Snoop Dogg. You feel me?
It's always good for us to know what people want, and I use Twitter as that, as a way of learning what I should do, what fans want, because they're the best critics.
I can talk to the fans, they can talk back to me, fights they want to see, things I'm doing wrong, how stupid I am, whatever the deal might be, I can communicate directly with our fans through Twitter.
We really like to keep tabs with our other partners in conservation, the other zoos and aquariums here in North America.
I'm using Twitter to send pictures and thoughts from space. And every day, I really enjoy reading your tweets. Ciao to all of you on the beautiful planet Earth.
People can exchange ideas and information instantaneously. Countries and cultures are brought together like never before.
Y me encanta usar Twitter porque me conecto con todos los fans alrededor del mundo.
I want to listen to the American people, so I follow thousands.
I use Twitter to keep in touch.
Really? I use Twitter to listen.
And we are back to the Mighty Sports Podcast. I'm wildin'. But we are back to the Mighty Sports Podcast. I am still your host, Talentine Taylor. If you are listening, you are listening live on mytradio.net or myt-sports.net, wherever you're listening or however you are listening. I want to thank you for tuning into the show as we get back. As I told you last time, we was in our local segment, and
matter of fact, 305.
so we're still in our local section. And the reason why I wanted to make sure that I had a little bit more time to do this local segment, I'm going to apologize to my friend Gonzo right now because I cannot find the tag that I was in that has your information. But for you guys that I'm sorry, I saw some funny shit. I do apologize, but for the guys that know, for the people that know Gonzo, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, we have to find a way to spread the word. Gonzo is wrestling this week. It's gonna be September 7th, Friday maybe. Shit, he may not get a chance to wrestle because of what's going on with this hurricane. But it is this week. The show is only $10. If you can, come make it out there. I think his name is like Gorgeous George or something like that, or you know what I mean, or the beautiful Brian. something of that nature. But yes, let's all go see if we can make it out there. Let's give him a very big warm welcome. Give him his own little Gonzo cheer-in section if you can. So listen, for more details, you guys that listen to the podcast know, hit up Louis, hit up JJ, that's John Jew. You know what I mean? Hit up Cutler, hit up Joe, hit up Bobby, you know what I mean? DJ Scepter. I hit these guys up and find out, because I'm pretty sure that these are going to be the ones that know more than anybody else on how to find them, because that's what I'm going to be hitting up to make sure listen, this is an event I do not want to miss. Talking about local events you don't want to miss. Put this date down in your books. On October 14th, 2017, it's a Saturday, the myt-sports podcast, the myt radio network, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, who also has 24/7 Miami, who also has Now Trending, who also has Millennials First, who also have who am I forgetting? Now Trending. Am I forgetting your show, Erica? No, you are Now Trending. No, you're not Now Trending. Trending Now? Shit. No, I forgot her show. Sorry. Okay, so I just got an update. Thank you, my man JJ. Because of the hurricane, Gonzo's event got canceled. This is breaking news, people. This is breaking news. Like, hold the presses. This is coming through on the MyT hotline as we speak. Gonzo's shit for Saturday got canceled because of the hurricane. That's exactly how it reads. So, unfortunately, the event that I told you we all have. So, listen, you guys understand that it's been canceled, which means that it will be rebooked. That's not fake news either. I got you, JJ. I got you. That's my kid Dino. I wish I had an explosion. I wish I still had an explosion here for you. That's my kid Dynamite. I know there's a bunch of people that don't get that reference. You have to be way younger than me. And I'm giving away my age a little bit, but you guys understand by now. Like I'm a 90s hip hop kind of kid. Like that's how this works. So thank you, JJ, for getting that information over to me. Thank you. Because we get to proceed. So, where were we? Let's get back. I swear to God, we will get you. I will make sure we talk fantasy today. I don't care if I have to go over. It's my show. Of course, I'll go over if I want to. Like, it's my show. I go over if I want to. Over if I want to. Over if I want to. You would go over too if you had your own show. So, here we come again. And I know I have a couple of friends that like to do these kind of things. So I am really going to be looking forward to you guys coming out there. October 14th, 2017. The Mighty Sports Network, the Mighty Radio Station, 24/7 Miami, Now Trending, Millennials First. And I'm going to forget your show a second time, Erica. Jeez. But the whole entire Connecticut School of Broadcasting's production family. So everybody that has a show through Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, we will be there in support of the Susan G. Komen's Race for the Cure, Miami Fort Lauderdale edition, Saturday, October 14th, 2017. This is a 5K and 1 mile walk/run. This is at Bayfront Park. Registration opens soon. You can go to www.komenmiaftl.org. I'll spell that out for you. That's KOM like Mike, EN like November, MIAFTL.org. KomenMiamiFortLauderdale.org. And register. Also, you can use the hashtag RFTCMIAFTL. That's basically Race for the Cure, Miami Fort Lauderdale. So yes, folks, that's Susan G. Komen. Race for the Cure, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, October 14, 2017. And when I mean that we're going to be there in full effect, all of these shows, every single person that I've mentioned, all of the shows that I that I mentioned are gonna be airing live. So yes, folks, we're gonna be airing remotely live from the Susan G. Coleman's Race for the Cure site, the myt-sports podcast. Come out, walk, run, support. You understand? Like we gotta say, we gotta beat cancer. Later on. And I don't know how the Connecticut School of Broadcasting is going to be involved with this. But listen, if you want to mark it down for a little bit further in your cards, it's February 18, 2018, Run for the Pink in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Save that date as well. I'll be talking about this a lot more as the date get closer. Yes, folks, the Mighty Sports Podcast and Susan G. Coleman with the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, 24/7. Man, I got to go get a list. But before we get any kinds of list out there, we got to talk some fantasy football. We have to talk some fantasy football. But before we talk about the fantasy of it, we have to talk about the sweet reality that is football right now, or the dilemma that's in football. Andrew Luck of the Indianapolis Colts is out. And once again, Kaepernick can't get it. I remember I said this a couple weeks ago. I said, like, I took out the flashback button already. I replaced it for the Jets button. So you know what? Since I did that, we might as well not pollute this Lauryn Hill song with a Jets chant right now. Ooh, you're lucky. Like, the music purist in me is definitely overruling the sports fanatic in me. But the reality that I said this a couple weeks ago, that I didn't even understand that while not only, like, everybody was so focused on what was going on in Baltimore with the Ravens and their quarterback situation, that nobody ever mentioned, and even what was happening down here in Miami with their quarterback situation. That the Indianapolis Colts were able to fly underneath that radar. I mean, seriously, just fly underneath that radar and not even get a mention, as if Andrew Luck was healthy enough, or if they thought that Andrew Luck was healthy enough to even play in the first game. Because if you thought there was a chance that he may not have played, am I understanding why not sign a guy like Andrew Luck as a backup, as insurance? Are you telling me that Jim Irsay, is that his name, Irsay, that he's worried about backlash in the news after he's driving around all over Indianapolis, Indiana, drunk and cocained up? Actually, I don't know if he was cocained up. Let me. That's speculation on my part. I'm just adding that in there. I'm just assuming that he takes cocaine as well. I'm just assuming. I have my reasons. You know. I'm just saying he's not one of the people that looks like they
smoke weed every day.
So we're gonna let him be. But no, we are gonna talk about fantasy. We definitely gonna talk about fantasy. And here it goes, ladies. Right as we get down to the final minute of the show, I know you're wishing that you had more time, but because you really don't need a lot of time with this. All right, I'm actually gonna help you out. Actually, I don't know. I did what I thought I was gonna do. I'm gonna help you out. It doesn't really matter who you want, where you want them, or how you want them. Just know that there's a general formula that you should follow for at least your first 5 picks. Pick number 6, 7, 8, 9. You can kind of do what you want to do with them, but your first 5 picks, follow a general formula. In the very first round, get yourself and this is where I make it easy for you. The research you don't have to really do. I'm going to be honest with you. The research you really don't have to do. Have yourself a formula that doesn't require you to need to know everything about every single player. Get yourself a formula that utilizes the system and helps you maximize the system. So I hope you're listening, Lashana. What you want to do, we gotta have 13 rounds in your draft. 13 rounds of being on the clock and trying to figure out who you want to pick. As your goal is to try to crush your opponent and let them know that after you've put together your squad, you are not somebody to be taken lightly. Or you could say how Cardi B said, and say, I don't know, you're not somebody to be fucked with. Very first round, you want to get yourself a gaudy running back. Get yourself a gaudy running back. There's going to be a guy out there, and you're going to think, and I remember I've told you this, don't think of this as regular football. The quarterback is not the most important position in fantasy football. The most important position in fantasy football is the position that has the most opportunities to actually put points on the board. And the quarterback, while they do have a good amount of opportunity to throw for a lot of touchdowns, they don't get 6 points for it like running backs and wide receivers do. But forget about all that. I'm talking numbers. I'm giving you things that you may not even want to know about, that you may not want to get into. I made this go into this after I give you this basic breakdown for the people that still want to continue listening. But we're not going to get into the numbers right now. We're just going to get into the positions. Very first round, get yourself a gaudy running back, because what happens is that when the ball is on the 1 yard line, unless you're the Seattle Seahawks and it's the Super Bowl, everybody's going to give the ball to the running back and try to punch that in. 1 yard, 6 points. I'm just saying. That's what people do. You get into the goal line position and you start punching in the ball. That's the reason why teams with very good running backs are going to do good, are great for you, that are run heavy. Get yourself a gaudy running back in the very first round. Reach a little if you have to. For somebody that you may have thought that, but get yourself that guy that you know when it gets to the goal line, he is going to get that ball in there. For the second round, to be honest with you, I would honestly tell you to get another gaudy running back. But the way the NFL has shifted since I first did this original formula, I'm going to tell you, get the best. And when I say gaudy, you understand, basically get the best running back available. Like, you're going to have about 3 of them available right there. Pick one out of the top 3 pick the best out of the top 3 available and make that your pick. If you just don't want to be tied to the best running back available, give yourself the option. Sort it by running back, because you can sort these. RB, which stands for running back. And pick one of those top 3s, the ones you like the best, the one you think is going to be the most productive. One of those guys that I told you that should be in these top 10 offenses that I mentioned a couple weeks ago. One of these guys that are either in the New England's offense, the Pittsburgh's offense, or in the Tampa Bay's offense. Who else was there? I don't have that list. Is in a whole different paper. But like I said, I will take a quick break and I'll go get that paper for you guys. So I'll break this down a little bit further for you. But that's what you're going for. So remember, you're basically gonna be putting together a couple of shows. A couple weeks ago, I gave you a show with the best offenses, the top 10 offenses. Well, now this is where you start picking up the players from these top 10 offenses. So figure out where you want them at. Figure out who you want these guys at. First round, you pick a gaudy running back, best running back available. Second round, you pick the best wide receiver. To me, right here, you can flip-flop these two, to be honest with you. I think you can go a second running back again and then go the best wide receiver in the third round. Because once you start getting to the middle of the pack for a lot of these guys, I'm not talking about middle of the pack, we're talking about anything 4 through 16 of the top wide receivers, top quarterbacks, top running backs. They basically are all going to average out to give you the same amount of points. So what it is that who did you grab where? Did you get somebody that you definitely thought was going to be a number 1? See, I'm taking all that away from you. I'm taking all of that extra thinking away from you. First pick, get that gaudy running back. Get the best running back available. Second pick, get the best wide receiver available. Just to ease your nerves. That third pick, get the best running back available. I know what you're thinking, like, hey, when am I going to get you? Get the best running back available. Third round. I told you. Today's show is all for the ladies. Don't doubt the process. Just do it. It's a process, and it's going to work for you. It's going to help you maximize your league. Now, trust me, today's podcast, I'm going to make sure that I am airing this as many times as possible. I'm going to, tomorrow's lineup of tomorrow's lineup in the Mighty Radio Network is going to be heavy on the podcast, because I do not want you ladies to miss out on the opportunity to draft right. So I don't have we don't have a copy of the second show. So the basically is going to be 3 shows: episode 1, episode 3, episode 4. Listen to them all day. Put on the mytradio.net station and listen to it. Get some tips. Write yourself down a little bit of notes. Get that top 10 list I talked about. Get those top 10 players in each position I was talking about, because this is when they start coming into play. With the 4th pick, get yourself the best running back available. I know you wonder, like, oh my God, I've already picked 3 running backs. Just do it. Remember I told you about the running back. They are the most important position here. So if you allow yourself, if you're lucky to get 3 of the top 20 running backs in the league, you are doing better than everybody else. And then when it really gets good, it's when people are trying to make trades for you. Because now what they want to do is give you 2 of their good wide receivers for 1 of your good running backs. But we're not going to get into that. Once again, I'll continue the show a little bit later, but we're just going to talk about the positions. I know, ladies, listen, like, if you're getting a little excited about this, I am too. Like, whew. Like, I'll admit it. Like, my nipples are like, whew. Like, but I also have a nipple piercing. Like, so let's not get too far north, south, east, or west. We're going to stay right dead center. With the 5th pick, get yourself now the best wide receiver available. Because like I said, at this point in time, you're working the averages. And this guy that you're getting now is going to be just as good as the person that got the 5th best wide receiver. But once again, what you also want to do, sort it out. Look to see if any of these players that were available, any of these players from those top 10 offenses are available. See if any of those top 10 position players are available. Basically, what I told you as well, you want to have as many top 10 players and as many top 10 offenses as possible. Like, you want to treat this dude as the new as Ty, whatever his name is, and you just keep wanting to put up 10s. With the 6th pick, get the best wide receiver. So at this point, if you follow the strategy, right, or if you're following along, right, you would have had now 3 solid running backs. Hopefully 2 of them are top 10 gaudy running backs. And you would have 3 wide receivers. This is going to cover the majority of your scoring. Right here, right now. That's going to cover the majority of it. That's where you're going to get the majority of your scoring from. Whoever you picked from this wide receiver pool, whoever you got from this running back pool. So I'll review them. I'll recap them again for you. 1st pick, running back. 2nd pick, wide receiver. 3rd pick, running back. 4th pick, running back. 5th pick, wide receiver. 6th pick, wide receiver. Now this is in a standard league. Now we're not talking PPR league. So for the ladies that are in this league, I'm talking. This is directly to you in a standard league. So everybody else that's thinking, hey, this may be kind of off. We're talking about a standard league here. This is a standard 10-person league. This particular league I'm giving advice to is a standard 10-woman league. We have a 10-man league in ours. It fluctuates here sometimes, up to 12, but this year is 10. With that 7th pick, you want to get yourself the best running back available. I know you're thinking like, yeah, get yourself the best running back available. It's gotta be for your best interest. Listen, I understand that you also are gonna have some good people that you want to have to get, but you also need some backups, right? You need somebody. You need some insurance. You need some. You understand? Somebody told me this, and this is the best way to describe insurance. Insurance is in case shit. You want some in case shit. Like in case some shit happens, you want to make sure that you're covering yourself from all angles, and that's what this is. You're gonna have 4 solid running backs at this point in time. With that 8th pick, get yourself the best tight end available. Now, understand by this point in time, unless you're just really a Gronk fan, Gronk is already off the board. So don't think about that guy from New England. After Gronk, everybody else is pretty much the same. Now, I know a couple of you may know this guy Kelsey from Love 'Em Hip Hop or Kiss Me With a Rose or The Bachelor or Bachelorette, whichever one of these reality shows he's on. Yeah, he may be one of those top guys, but at the end of the day, he still has injury issues, and he kind of just averages out to be part of the average pool. They're gonna win you some games, and they're not the difference maker. There's no Antonio Gates out there anymore. Gronk is old, and Gronk even has health issues. Number 8th pick, you're gonna pick up a tight end, the best available tight end there is. Now, with the number 9 pick, believe it or not, this is where you can start getting your quarterback at. You don't need that quarter. Trust me, like I said, unless you've reached up early and possibly wanted to get, let's say, Aaron Rodgers, maybe, because Aaron Rodgers may be the only dual threat, maybe a Cam Newton, but you also have to rely on Cam Newton having a good passing year as well. Like that 5-12 record shit can't happen. He can't put up the same record as the New York Jets and expect to put up numbers. No, that doesn't happen. So, yeah, you can get your quarterback right here. 9th round. 10th round? This is what I'm kind of iffy on, right? Because these last 4 picks you could kind of switch around a little. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The book I have written down says with this 10th round, go pick yourself up another wide receiver or another running back. One of the two. But I honestly say get yourself a defense here. If you want to try to sneak something in, this will be that place in the 10th round. Get yourself one of those top 3 defenses if they're available right here in that 10th round. That's where you start flipping shit on people. Now, because I'm talking to a 10-person league, right? Some people are gonna be wondering. Some people that you may talk to are gonna wondering, hey, where's your backup quarterback? Where's your backup defense? Where's your backup kicker? It's a 10-person league. You're not gonna have to worry about. You're not gonna have to overstress about that. Especially if you get away with picking up a top 3 defense in the 10th round, you can find a comparable defense that's gonna be playing the Jets one week. That you can, you understand? Basically, whoever's playing the Jets that one week, you pick them up and you'll be okay. Plan 2-3 weeks ahead. Just yank them up, drop somebody that you may not need. Once again, that's a lot more further detail. So listen, here, ladies. Even if I have to do this for you guys the whole entire year, I'll do this for you the whole entire year. After the show is over, after we've gone over the 1 hour mark, I will sit here personally and have this one-on-one with you as we go over some fantasy football things. You know, things like trades and the waiver wire and all these other, terms that you're like, what the fuck is T talking about? Oh my. So we'll go through this. We'll have this intimate one-on-one session.
Let's get it on.
So with the number 10 pick, yeah, you can reach a little. This is the time if you want to reach, go ahead and reach and get yourself that defense. With the 11th pick and the 12th pick, This is where you could definitely flip-flop it. Get yourself the best running back or wide receiver available. All right, you can. There's a way that also that you'll be able to sort this by called a flex position. If you sort this by flex, it'll put wide receivers and running backs into one category. It'll also include tight ends. Don't worry about that tight end. You can overlook it, unless you really just want to grab a second tight end. Once again, I'm gonna treat the tight ends the same way I'm gonna treat the defense, same way I'm gonna treat the quarterback, same way I'm gonna treat the kicker. You're only gonna need one for right now. You can pick up a second one, and you can pick up a second one in waivers. There are gonna be some very good quarterbacks left on the board if you are playing in a 10-person league, especially if you're playing in a 10-person league where 8 of them are slightly confused on the schematics of drafting. But this is why I'm doing this, so you guys won't have that. And if you do it this way, then I'm definitely gonna leave a whole bunch of extras out there for you guys. There's always gonna be a quarterback available, defense available, a kicker available. So here we go. The 11th pick and the 12th pick. These are flip-flop picks. You can do this either way you want. But what you want to do here, pick up the best wide receiver or running back available. Same thing with the 12th pick. Pick up the best wide receiver or running back available. And with the very last pick of the draft, grab yourself a kicker. That's how kickers are treated. The same way they're treated on the field is the way they're treated in fantasy. They're the last to know any and everything. Right? But there is a method to this. I gave you the top 10 offenses a couple weeks ago. Once again, I'm going to read that podcast for you. Pick up a kicker in one of these top 10 offenses. There's 10 of you, right? There's 10 of you. There's no way that you shouldn't be able to get a kicker in the top. You understand? This is why it's going to be done like that. It's just who you prefer. Whose offense do you prefer? Do you prefer New England's kicker? Do you prefer Atlanta's kicker? Do you prefer Pittsburgh kickers? Do you prefer Tampa Bay's kicker? Do you prefer this one's for you, Megan. Who's your team, Megan? The LA Chargers kicker. You understand? Whose kicker do you prefer in the top 10? But find him, get him, put him in there. Because he will be putting up points. So, I hope you ladies have that. I hope that's everything for you. I'll go through it really quick again. Round 1, running back. Round 2, wide receiver. Round 3, running back. Round 4, running back. Round 5, wide receiver. Round 6, wide receiver. Round 7, running back. Round 8, tight end. Round 9, quarterback. Round 10, reach. Get that defense. Round 11, best running back or wide receiver available. And these are all best available. But also to your liking, but best available. Always try to keep it in those top 3 best available slots. You can take your pick of who you like out of that, but if you're thinking like, I don't want the best, give it at least, if you want to feel like you want more option, then do it the best 3 out of that, but you want to do best available. Where was I? Reaching for that defense. So round number 10, defense. Number 11, best running back or best wide receiver available. Number 12th pick, best running back or best wide receiver available. And with the 13th pick, you get that kicker. Thank you for listening. This is the Mighty Sports Podcast. I have been your host, Talon T. Thoma Taylor. You've been listening to the Mighty Sports Podcast on mytradio.net as well as myt-sports.net. I appreciate you. Thank you. Stay tuned for next week's show. Stay blessed and please don't stress. And as we continue to build this thing from the bottom on up, remember, one hand washes the other and both wash the face.
Sorry, boys. All the stitches in the world can't sew me together again. Lay down. Lay down. Always knew I'd make a stop there. But a lot later than a whole gang of people thought. Last call for drinks. Bars closing down. Sun's out. Where we going for breakfast? Don't want to go far. Rough night. Tired, baby. Tired.
My teeth!